player for Nebraska this season. She ranked in the top 10 in the Big Ten in nearly every single relevant statistical category, including three-point percentage and assists per game. Nebraska is one of the best at having a balanced scoring attack and getting that inside-outside game going.
Gonzaga making their 13th NCAA tournament appearance, 5th straight after knocking off BYU in the WCC championship game. And Maria Verjoge comes up with the first 2 points for Gonzaga.
And already Markowski playing behind Verjoge, making her make a move down low when she gets deep position.
And let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One for Nebraska. They've got talent up and down, including the Big Ten Freshman of the Year in Alexis Markowski. Sam Hybe with the first three-point shot. How about a little give and go? And Markowski with the rebound. Allison Widener, the freshman. And here's the Gonzaga starting five, brought to you by Capital One. Sierra Walker, the transfer from Vanderbilt, and the tournament's most outstanding player, Melody Kempton, who's been a force this year in the post.
Kempton has really improved her face-up game, playing inside-outside, but most importantly, that's one of her moves right there. Her ability to pull defenders out, and she can take you one-on-one, and once she finds the angle, she can finish.
She's the #1 scorer this year, is Kempton, at over 54%, put the Zags up by 1 in the early first quarter. Izzy Bourne sets it up for Shelley. Long range three. She knocks it down.
Shelley hit 8 3-pointers against Illinois in the Big Ten tournament a couple of weeks ago. She has the ability to heat up in a hurry. Nebraska knocks down 8 threes as a team that led the Big Ten this year.
They're 36% shooting as a team, 4th in the Big Ten this season. Strong gives it up to an open Kempton. And there's Markowski coming high down with the rebound, and quickly in transition, Hybe trying to find Bourne. And it'll be possession going the other way for the Zags. And the last thing that the Zags want Nebraska to see is some double trouble here in this game. And
you've been sitting on that one for a couple of days, and that's because Gonzaga has twins, Kaylee and Kaylin Trong, who are a terror on the floor for opponents. Kaylee has the ball. She starts at point guard, runs the offense. Kaylin comes off the bench, and she is big time from a scoring standpoint.
And welcome to those who just saw the finish between Creighton and Colorado. John Brickley alongside Megan Kewen, coming to you from the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky, as Creighton advancing to the round of 32. Gonzaga, Nebraska, two teams who want to do that this afternoon. Out of bounds to the Zags, and so far we've seen a good game between these two teams.
Well, I've been really impressed with the post defense from Anna Maria Verjoge for Gonzaga. She's been able to play behind Alexis Markowski, who was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and that 6'5" size has really flustered Markowski from a standpoint of blocking her look at the basket.
Sierra Walker, long-range three off the mark. She's the #1 three-point shooter in the West Coast Conference this season. Shelley, opposite end. No, but Markowski skies in for the offensive rebound and a foul.
And already you're seeing the pace that Nebraska wants to play at. If the Huskers can get up and run, that's exactly what they're going to do. You can see transition threes, the hardest shot to guard in college basketball, and all of basketball that is. And Markowski just comes in hot like a flying squirrel almost, trying to get that offensive rebound put back.
Markowski, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, was an only unanimous selection on the all-freshman team in the Big Ten this season. Knocks down 1 of 2 to give Nebraska the lead, and a couple of substitutions for the Cornhuskers. Abby O'Connor with Widener defending aggressively. Strong looking to create with the left hand, too strong. Loose ball into the hands of Hybe.
I thought Strong was going to get the ball on the ground.
Shelley, the transfer from Oregon. Off to Hybe, and the junior, no, but we'll go to the free throw line.
Hybe hit a 3 to start out this game, but traditionally, Hybe is known as a slasher. She has an excellent first step to get to the basket, almost lulls defenders to sleep, then boom, finds the gap, sees she has a quickness advantage, and is able to blow past her defender, force the help to come over to draw the foul.
Look at Amy Williams, the Nebraska grad who started her career as a walk-on at Nebraska, finished on scholarship, talked about filling out a special questionnaire on what her dream job would be, got it with Nebraska, and here she is leading this program to their second tournament appearance in her tenure.
And this Nebraska team has had an excellent season. The non-conference, they were one of the few undefeated teams left at the end of the non-conference season, and then did a great job in the Big Ten, which is one of the toughest conferences in the country. But most importantly, Coach Williams has awesome sparkly shoes on right now. If you click them 3 times, you might go back to Kansas, to Nebraska. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens. I don't think they want to leave anytime soon, though.
There's no place like home. And a fight for the loose ball. Korn with the aggressive reach in and forces the jump ball situation and possession Nebraska.
And already you just see Izzy Bourne staying aggressive, getting into the passing lane. That pass from Gonzaga has to be really sharp and crisp, especially at the top of the key. You can't afford to have any lazy passes because Nebraska is attacking those passing lanes hard.
Phillip Cravens, 14 in white, off the bench. There's Hybe with her second made 3 of this first quarter.
And you can already see Hybe's been open twice. That's because she shoots 23% from beyond the arc, so Gonzaga's just kind of playing to those percentages. But right now, somebody in a blue jersey has to get out to Hybe.
Down low, Kempton quickly with an answer for the Zags.
The Zags boast so much veteranship coming back from a year ago, and the balanced scoring attack. 4 players average double figures in scoring for the Zags. They like to run a lot of sets, and when they take the time in the shot clock to run the set correctly, that's when the Zags become a really hard team to guard.
This is an offense for the Zags. We have 8 players that shoot over 40% from the floor. Yvonne Ejim, the 6th woman of the year out of the WCC, on the floor for the Zags, but a turnover leads to a 3-on-2. Hybe left open is Caton. Three-ball, Trong, out of bounds, possession to Gonzaga. Good action so far we've seen in the opening round from the Wichita region here in Louisville, Kentucky. Gonzaga, Nebraska, one of these 2 teams is heading to the round of 32. To mind the passion of one Sam Hybe because of the fact that she's made her mark on the diamond, a starting outfielder and pitcher for her hometown baseball team, and Moorhead, Minnesota, was the first girl to throw a scoreless inning in Minnesota history in boys baseball, and her passion comes from being a fan with the Cardinals, being a fan of Denard Span and Albert Pujols. She's as excited as anyone that baseball is back.
And she also said her favorite pitch to throw was, of course, the fastball. So Sam Hybe showing that you can get it done in multiple areas in sports, whether that be on the floor or on the diamond.
And she's been lights out so far. Nebraska getting all their points from beyond the arc. 2 of those thanks to the sharp shooting of Sam Hybe. Kayla Williams checking in 24 in blue for Gonzaga. Kaylin Trong trying to give it off to Ejim with 4 on the shot clock. Ejim! And Markowski with the rebound. Nebraska 15th overall NCAA tournament appearance. First since 2018. And a blocking foul that goes against Trong.
Already you can see how Gonzaga's ball screen defense is affecting Nebraska's offense. Right now, Gonzaga's not going underneath the screen on Jazz Shelley. They're going over it because they don't want Shelley to be able to step back and knock down the 3. So the help side defense has to be there, but right there, a little too late to get the block called.
Widener from the elbow. Out of bounds to Gonzaga. Gonzaga head coach Lisa Fortier in her 8th season with the Zags, making it 5 straight appearances in the NCAA tournament. What I thought was interesting in our conversations yesterday during shoot-around, found out that her freshman year in college, she was a beauty pageant winner thanks to her ball handling skills.
I love that, and the fact that you knew that was what was impressive. Her jaw dropped when you brought that up to her. She said it was Harlem Globetrotters-esque, and I thought that was a pretty cool talent to possess.
Agent with the travel turnover on the Zags.
Checking in for the Cornhuskers, number 4, Sam Hyde, number 15, Kendall Moriarty. Checking in for Gonzaga, number 1.
Zags are a team that had to overcome a lot of adversity. They lost a lot of talent last year, including Jill Townsend, who had the game winner in last year's tournament championship game against BYU. They lost to Belmont in the opening round of the NCAA tournament, so a lot to prove this year for the Zags team coming into Louisville.
We had an opportunity to talk to Melody Kempton, and she said they had that in mind going into this. They want revenge after what happened last year against Belmont.
Markowski with her first made field goal of the game, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, helping Nebraska extend their lead.
I really like Ejim for Gonzaga, but I really like Markowski from Nebraska as well, who has stayed patient and has adjusted to Verjoge playing right behind her. Their time to move, she felt Verjoge on that right shoulder, was able to spin back over to the left, a counter to a counter. Markowski is playing like a freshman plus now, continuing to learn the game as the season progresses.
Nick Williams, no, there's Markowski again with the rebound. Her coach, Amy Williams, telling us yesterday her physicality is a shock to the system.
Well, especially when players get to the Division I level, especially the Big Ten, you've got to bang down inside, and Markowski's really embraced that physicality.
Kalen Prong gives it to Ejim in stride.
Ejim has been an excellent piece for this Gonzaga team, coming off the bench, and she just comes in and does all of the little things but makes smart plays at the basket. Wonderful size she possesses at 6'1", but she can finish facing up to the basket, and that means that defenders who are traditional post players have to come out and guard on the perimeter.
She'll be a starter next year for Lisa Fortier, but right now she's best utilized coming off the bench, was named the 6th Woman of the Year in the West Coast Conference. Markowski, she can shoot the 3. Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. Gonzaga with all 5 made field goals in the paint. Verjoge gets bailed out by the foul.
Gonzaga really likes to run these sets and get that high-low game going with the post players. That time Verjoge stayed patient, but Markowski bailed her out at the end because Verjoge didn't have a good look at the basket.
Shelley back into the game as Markowski picks up her first foul. Verjoge, who's a native of Romania, plays for the national team. Actually, her first career collegiate game was an exhibition game at the Kennel, and the Zags coaching staff was so impressed. A year later, she was suiting up for Gonzaga.
That's an awesome story. You never know who's watching you. You always got to be prepared.
Shelley. Morati left open for the corner 3. Kendall Morati coming off the bench for Nebraska.
Paint touches lead to open three-point shots because the Gonzaga defense has to collapse, and that leads a wide open look for Moriarty.
Moriarty 4 threes. I should say as a team, Nebraska with 4 threes has extended this lead back up to 5 as we close in on the final 10 seconds of the first quarter. Jazz Shelley picks up her first foul. The sophomore guard transfer from Oregon. One of only 2 players on this roster that has NCAA tournament experience. As part of the Ducks' Sweet 16 a year ago, is out of the inbounds. Sierra Walker with the 3-point shot.
That was a pretty quick release from Sierra Walker. My goodness. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. That's exactly what Nebraska has in Lincoln. 3 Australian players that had the opportunity to come and play their collegiate basketball for the Huskers. And all of these 3 players have experience playing professionally in Australia, and that experience has helped them tremendously on the floor. Jazz Shelley, forward Izzy Bourne, and guard Ruby Porter have all been impact players throughout this season for the Huskers. And 3 players, Amy Williams, is happy that they found Lincoln, Nebraska, even though not nearly as warm in Nebraska as it is in Australia.
And we take a look at how Nebraska's international stars are achieving the impossible, brought to you by Adidas. Shelley, along with Bourne, each part of that U19 Australian team that won a silver medal at the FIBA Games. And for Shelley, she told us yesterday that it's been 2 years that she's been able to see her siblings, where her and Bourne are about 6 hours apart in Australia from their hometowns.
Well, and they're good friends, and Bourne was somebody who wanted Shelley to come to Nebraska and play with her at the college level, and I think it's worked out so far for Amy Williams because they've had a lot of success this year when Shelley has had the ball in her hands.
And there's a different way of coaching the international stars. They play against professionals overseas, and that rubs off that veteran experience onto the newcomers.
Well, any time as a young player you're going against players that are in their 30s, you have an advantage regarding experience.
How about the 3-point shot out of the timeout? Eliza Hollingsworth, the redshirt sophomore out of Melbourne, Australia, giving Gonzaga the 1-point lead in this second quarter.
She was like, do not forget that I am also from Australia and you're not talking about me.
O'Connor, no. Offensive rebound and put back by Kempton. Bourne, top of the arc 3. Feet ahead as Kempton unable to convert. Last touch by Markowski.
How about Hollingsworth just wide open at the top of the key? The miscommunication by Nebraska left her wide open. And then Gonzaga getting out and running in transition. Just really solid, strong play. Kempton finishing the play for the Zags. That fast pace is not necessarily what you're going to see consistently from the Zags, but if they can get out and run and get a good shot, that's what they want to do.
Kaylee Trogg out of the inbounds play. Gonzaga stretching out their lead to 5. A 7-0 run to start off this second quarter for the Zags. Markowski draws contact, will head to the free throw line.
I've talked about Markowski being a freshman plus now for the Huskers because she does the little things fundamentally that you learn from playing at this level. She kept the ball really high on that rebound putback. Before, she may have brought it down a little lower, which would have caused Gonzaga to come down and swipe at it, but keeping it high gives you the ability to get fouled.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship first round continues today on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on tournament game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Markowski missing both free throws. Strong. Hollingsworth feeling it from beyond the arc, rattled in and out as Hybe comes down with the rebound.
That literally went all the way into the bottom of the rim and popped out. She's got to talk to somebody from facilities.
Reminds me of your shot, Northwestern.
A lot of in and outs.
Not for Jazz Shelley. 3-point answer for Nebraska's sharpshooting sophomore.
This is why Nebraska is dangerous, because at any moment they have the ability to heat up from 3. Shelley, just on a quick miscommunication, doesn't need a lot of room to get that shot off.
A 41% 3-point shooter gets the Huskers within 2. Kempton versus Markowski. Great matchup in this opening round. Kaylee Trong looking to distribute. Kempton left open for 15-foot jumper that drops.
I love how composed Trong stays when she has the ball in her hands. Simply goes down but stays under control. That allows Kempton to reset, get into the eyesight, and then get a wide open shot.
Hot start for Kempton, the senior. 4 of 6 from the floor, 8 points to lead all scores. Widener, nice give and go to Shelley. High glass and in.
Shelley adjusted the angle of the shot in midair when she released it. A higher release point because she was going so fast and out of control, almost as if she wasn't expecting to get the ball, but she was able to readjust.
Walker stepped out of bounds. A turnover for the Zags.
Trong staying composed, Kempton wide open, and you saw Markowski just overhelping down low, which led to that open basket. Then Shelley just in midair, high off the glass. And that just teardrops in quite beautifully, if I might add.
Shelley, who was mentored in a sense from Sabrina Ionescu at their time at Oregon, and she said yesterday how much Sabrina was able to take her under her wing and learn so much in terms of how to set up defensively, how to shoot the ball properly, learned so much from Sabrina Ionescu.
Well, it's interesting too, as Shelley says, Sabrina is one of the best when it comes to reading ball screen defense and how to react from it.
Caden from the corner, the transfer from Cal, lighting it up from beyond the arc, and Nebraska takes a 1-point lead. Nebraska is shooting 60% from beyond the arc in this first half. Partially blocked into the hands of Ejim, count it, and the foul.
Yvonne Ejim, get in the weight room because she just looked like she bench pressed half of the Huskers on this offensive rebound putback. Staying so strong in the paint, finishing the play, but ultimately hunting for the rebound. And Nebraska has to box out, get a butt in the gut, and push Ejim out because she is very aggressive when it comes to creating second chance opportunities.
Ejim completes the three-point play, a native of Calgary who wants to pursue a career as a doctor, said yesterday, high school calculus was easy to me.
And I'm out. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what kind of calculus they're teaching in Canada, but I can tell you, you got to be really smart, which Ejim is, to be making statements like that.
Simple math is confusing to me.
I can barely count to 5 some days.
Four minutes into this second quarter, winner of this game moves on to the round of 32 to await the winner of the top seed Louisville and number 16 seed UAlbany that we'll see coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Widener, as Caton was calling for it, instead turns to a Gonzaga opportunity on the other end. Three-point shot that drops for Kaylee Trong.
That sequence all happened because of the defense by Ejim on that end. She came down, switched on the ball screen, was able to use her size and length to fluster Nebraska, which led to a turnover and a transition three.
Caton getting some good minutes early. Shelley from the corner for three. And Walker there for the weak side rebound. And they're going to get a blocking foul on Shelley. What a collision that was between Trong and Shelley, and both players hitting the deck hard.
Shelley just coming up, trying to draw the charge. She moves, and it looks like Trong hit her head on the floor. And Shelley's still moving, sets car. Oh man, that hurts so bad. Trong just hitting her back of her head on the floor. You saw the bounce up of her head.
So that's Kaylee Trong, her sister, twin sister, who's also on the team, Kaylin Trong. I mean, that was a scary injury off the collision with Shelley.
Kaylee Trong has been massive for this Gonzaga team throughout the season. She's starting point guard. Great facilitating. This Gonzaga team is one of the best when it comes to running sets and staying patient in the offense. And the reason why they're able to do that is because of Trong.
as the trainer for Gonzaga continues to look and examine at Trong, who slowly starts to get back on her feet. And a nice ovation here from the fans in Louisville as she's helped off the court. That was a tough hit, a blocking call that goes against Trong. And it's good to see her able to walk off somewhat on her own power.
Hopefully she'll be able to return this game, but that was a very scary situation, and anything with the head, you always have to be so careful.
She'll exit the game, go to the locker room. Her sister, Kaylin Trong, 14 in blue, coming off the bench. As play resumes, we approach 5 minutes left to play in this first half, and a 5-point lead for Gonzaga. And a jump ball situation that will go to Nebraska.
Gonzaga's going to have to find a way to adjust now that Kaylin Trong is going to be out for now. How will they be able to adjust for the rest of the second quarter?
Back in Louisville, a scary moment during the second quarter between Gonzaga and Nebraska as you take a look at junior guard for the Zags, Kaylin Trong, who left the locker room after hitting her head in a collision with Jazz Shelley. Friends and family of Gonzaga who are in attendance, certainly concerned on the well-being of Trong, who is taking a look at right now in the locker room. Her twin sister, Kaylin Trong, on the floor as the Zags have built up a 5-point lead here with the last 5 minutes to play in this first half.
And obviously a scary injury, but the Zags really depend on Kaylin Trong as their point guard, as their floor general, who really puts everybody in a position to be successful. So the Zags are going to have to adjust to their point guard not being on the floor.
Shelley off the mark on the jumper by Bella Cravens, the Hawaii native. Transfer from Eastern Washington on the floor. Good back and forth battle we've seen in the first half between this 8-9 matchup where we've seen 6 lead changes. And a foul that goes against the grad student in Caton for Nebraska.
Nebraska is trying to hard deny the point guards from getting the ball back for Gonzaga. Right there, just a little too aggressive play from Caton.
Just saw on the bench before a shot of Kaylin Trong back out of the locker room on the bench for the Zags. Ejim left hand. Markowski commits the foul. And will head to the free throw line, her second.
Foul on Nebraska's number 40, Markowski, her second. Team fourth. Checking in for Nebraska's number 34, Isabel Ford. She replaces Markowski. At the line for Gonzaga, number 15, Yvonne Ejim will shoot 2.
Markowski goes on the bench with 2 fouls, puts Ejim to the free throw line. And here's a look at the bracket for the Wichita Regional. Again, we're going to see the top seed in Louisville, a number 1 seed for the 3rd time in 3 years, take on U-Albany. Can they become the 2nd team to ever knock off a number 1? They saw the video this morning of Harvard doing it back in '98 against Stanford. We will see coming up in the 6 o'clock hour.
Very important noting it's only happened 1 time in the women's tournament when Harvard knocked off Stanford, as you mentioned. But hey, there's been a lot of parity throughout basketball on the men's and women's side. Who knows what could happen? It's March, baby.
And you just saw before Louisville in the house, the number 1 seed who has been off the last 2 weeks after that early exit in the ACC tournament in the quarterfinals, losing to Miami at the buzzer.
You see Gonzaga coming out with a little 3-quarter court press, just trying to take some time off the shot clock for Nebraska.
Ravens partially blocked. Nice double team in the low post by Kempton. Walker to Trong, thought about the 3. Floater in the lane. Offensive rebound tracked down by Abby O'Connor. Ejim lost the handle, stolen away by Hybe.
Hybe jumped to the ball and was able to get that steal.
Hybe going through traffic, can't convert with the left hand. Strong Behind the back to Walker for three. And a foul as Bourne came down with the rebound.
This has been a really physical matchup down low in the paint, especially when it comes to fighting for rebounds. Keep in mind, these are two excellent rebounding teams. Gonzaga has a +10 rebounding margin that led the WCC. Nebraska +6 rebounding margin that was ranked in the top 5 in the Big Ten. So both of these teams have the ability to create second chance opportunities. And I like how physical the officials are allowing both these teams to play.
Pressure defense at the midline. Ivy. Bourne kept her composure. Ivy step back three. No, but she was fouled on the shot attempt.
Hybe is shooting the ball with a lot of confidence from three in this game. Again, she came into this game only shooting 23% from beyond the arc. Gonzaga didn't necessarily get out to her to begin with, but she already made 2 threes, and it's given her some confidence. Now she's going to try to hit step backs in your face, but on the closeout, you have to allow the shooter to land, and Hybe was not afforded that opportunity, and she eventually fell down. Here we are at the foul line.
What's noteworthy about Hybe is the fact that she led Nebraska in scoring last year. And coming into this year with Jazz Shelley coming over from Oregon, she embraced that role of being the secondary scoring option.
Well, what was great for Hybe is she was able to play off of the ball, and that's where Hybe can be really effective because she has a great ability to get to the basket and score. A quick first step, and it forces a lot of opponents to have to play off balance. And as soon as you get off balance with Hybe, she's going to make you pay by getting to the basket.
Monica Stewart comes off the bench for Nebraska. 18th game for Hybe now with 10 or more points. First player in double figures for either team in this first half. For Joge, lost the handle of it off the give and go right into the hands of Bourne.
Nebraska is high hedging on ball screens, and the Zags haven't found a way to counter that and try to turn the corner to get to the basket. They're running their offense too high on the floor.
Bourne strong to the basket.
Bourne's a player that has really developed for Nebraska, started to come in as a post player, but now she's kind of become a really nice perimeter player. She can knock it down from three, but also comfortable taking it off the dribble and getting to the basket, which is helpful when a player like Bourne, who stands at 6'2", it just spreads the floor and opens things up offensively for the Huskers.
Bourne, as we mentioned, one of the 3 players who hail from Australia on this roster for Amy Williams, who made the point that Aussie plays, they learn to adjust to different matchups more so quickly than perhaps in the States.
Especially when you play professionally, there's so many different players and coaches that you're learning from. As a player, you have to be able to make quick adjustments.
Keep in mind, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Alexis Markowski, is on the bench for Nebraska with 2 fouls. Scramble for the loose ball right in front of the Nebraska bench, and it will go to the Huskers.
You saw some bodies colliding, but Bourne is really tangled up right now and worried about Ejim's ability to rebound the ball offensively. You saw her fall hard to the ground, but that's because Ejim was kind of bodying up against her and almost pulled the chair out, in a sense, and forced Bourne to fall down. But it just goes to show you the level of respect Nebraska has for Gonzaga's ability to rebound the ball in the offensive end.
So bonus situations putting Bourne to the free throw line. Bourne just a 57% free throw shooter. And if you're Amy Williams, you'd have to imagine that you would take a win going into the half, keeping it close with the Zags with your top freshman star on the bench because of foul trouble.
I would imagine so. But this next minute 30 is going to be really key for Nebraska. They have to get a defensive stop from a momentum standpoint headed into the half.
Ejim traveled with the basketball. Turnover for the Zags. That'll be their 8th in this first half.
Ejim has the ability to step out once she gets the ball face up and take it off the dribble, but that time her feet just got a little fancy.
Gonzaga going with the full court press. Huskers able to get it across into the hands of Stewart, who fires off an off-bounds 3 into the hands of Walker for the rebound.
That press has really flustered Nebraska. The Huskers have tried to dribble through it, but in order to beat a press, you have to pass the ball up the floor.
Both teams struggling down the stretch in this first half. Nebraska having missed their last 5 shots. Ejim, however, with an answer for Gonzaga, and they stretch this lead out to 4. And a turnover on the other end for Nebraska.
I'm really impressed with the way Gonzaga has been able to adjust despite having Kaylee Trong on the bench. There's Kaylin Trong finding Ejim, an excellent vision from the guard. Ejim using her body and size to come across the lane. And as soon as you see numbers as a guard on the front of your post players' jerseys, dump the ball inside.
Foul against Nebraska. And coming up on the Degree halftime report, we'll take a look at all the action from around the first full day of the NCAA tournament, including Iowa right now in a fight in the first half against Illinois State. We also saw South Carolina come up with a convincing win over Howard. So we'll have all that coming up with Elle Duncan, Rebecca Lobo, and Nikki Vargas in the studio. Ivy off to Shelley. About a 1 second difference between game clock and shot clock. Ivy crossover dribble with the right hand. How pretty that was.
And Hybe reading the defense on that play, did a great job seeing the defense overhelp. She rejects the screen and finishes strong for the Huskers.
Our first half score at the break. Gonzaga with a 33-30 lead on Nebraska thanks to a +10 advantage in points.
Without fouling in the second half.
Gonzaga is 23-4 this season when leading at the half. They have a 3-point lead with a spot to the round of 32 on the line Sunday here in Louisville, Kentucky. Kaylee Trong back on the floor, having taken that hit to the head in the first half on the blocking foul to Jazz Shelley, and comes out strong to start off this second half.
I mean, uses the opposite hand too to avoid the block. An impressive get to the basket by Trong.
Gonzaga now with a 5-point lead to open it up against Nebraska. Shelley with the dribble drive, blocked from behind by Verjoge. Kempton one-on-one with Bourne, up and under move, no, fouls up her own shot. Gonzaga wanted some contact, instead it's a reset with 5 left on the shot clock. O'Connor blocked by Murkowski and a shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation
Great defense by Nebraska and an excellent job by Bourne, staying really strong and defending without fouling. But Trong just baits the defense a little bit. She just waits a second, then boom, gets an open look to the basket. Then Verjoge coming in hot with the block. Jazz Shelley's gonna think twice now when she drives into the lane.
Here's Hybe with the left hand. No, Markowski with 4 zags around her. Widener throwing it up.
Look, I love when players stay aggressive down low, but when you have 4 blue jerseys, throw the ball out. Try to get some offense going. Just because you're in a high percentage area doesn't mean you need to shoot it there.
How about the performance from Trong right now? Largest lead for Gonzaga at 7, 37-30, about 2 minutes into this third quarter.
Right here, pass it out. As soon as you get the ball, and then Widener needs to pass it out. And then there needs to be white jerseys to make themselves available. Credit the way the Zags have been getting out and making Nebraska pay. I mean, Trong is finishing with all sorts of defenders on her in all sorts of crafty ways. And that's especially coming off of that injury she had in the second quarter that was scary to the head.
Kempton picked up her second foul, and Shelley called for the offensive foul with the charge.
The offensive foul on Nebraska's #1, Jazz Shelley.
Right now, we're seeing the veteranship of Gonzaga come out to play. And Trong just stays there, and already she has impacted this game drastically, and there's barely been a minute in the third quarter that's gone by. She got to the basket, she's facilitated, and then made a key defensive stop there, drawing that charge.
That's a crucial play for Jazz Shelley, the sophomore guard, picking up her 3rd foul. Markowski, who's back on the floor, has 2 fouls. Kempton off the give and go, and she's now in the double figures with 10.
And Kempton wanted to fake the screen, then just slipped it straight to the basket. She caught Bourne off guard and was able to make Nebraska pay.
5 of 8 shooting for the senior. And fighting for the loose ball and an offensive foul.
And right now, you just see the slipping. She goes to kind of set the screen, it looks like, but then slips, catches the defense off guard, and absorbs a little bit of contact as well down low. But the contact by Markowski has to come over and cut off the angle to the basket, because Kempton controlled that angle to the basket and was able to make Nebraska pay. And right
Gonzaga,
now,
with a 7-0 run to end the second quarter, has started this third quarter on a 6-0 run.
Controlled tempo against Bourne, especially down low.
We had a chance yesterday to talk with Melody Kempton, and she is engaged. And the first thing I asked her was nothing about basketball. How did your fiance propose to you? Please tell me the details.
And you got the details, and tell the people the details.
On the steal, there's Widener, no, but there's Hybe with the putback.
Those are the types of buckets that Nebraska needs to get in transition. Just trying to get defensive stops, because if they're going to start making a run, it starts on the defensive side of the ball.
Hybe with 14 points. To go back to that story about the proposal.
Don't leave us hanging.
He drove her around the Spokane River, had the nice, cute love playlist going on, and did it in front of a sunset and proposed to her.
She said he played Mumford & Sons, which I found very romantic.
Verjoge with a beautiful stroke, and Gonzaga is just on fire to begin this third quarter.
Gonzaga stays so patient offensively, runs through all of their sets, and they don't get flustered when the shot clock gets down to below 10. Those are the veterans stepping up and understanding what it's like to play at this level.
Hybe strong to the basket, and it looks to be Walker with the foul.
And you can just see the composure that Gonzaga is able to maintain, even despite the high hedge coming. Verjoge makes herself available. That's what Nebraska's been doing on ball screens. They're coming out and high hedging. Gonzaga's finally trying to turn the corner, and players are coming up to make themselves available to the teammate coming off of the ball screen.
Hybe makes the first. If you're Nebraska, you've got Shelley in foul trouble with 3. Markowski's been ineffective. How do they build back and cut into this deficit?
Nebraska's at its best when they can get defensive stops, then run out in transition. And right now, Gonzaga's forced Nebraska to play in the half court. I'd like to see the Huskers try to get the ball to Hybe more, let her take the ball off the bounce. You also have to get some paint touches inside, whether that be off the dribble by Shelley or dumping it down to Markowski when she's in the game.
Hybe with 16 points, 22 games this season in double figures for the junior guard. Malin Trong back iron the 3-ball attempts, and possession to Nebraska. Down low to Bourne. Great feed from Shelley in the low post.
Paint touches, that's how you get back. Just simple, smart half-court offense where you have a player like Bourne post up, really strong positioning down low for an open angle to the basket.
Aussie to Aussie, and it's a 5-point deficit for Nebraska. Strong lets it fly. Bourne with a great drive, too strong with the left hand for Joge with the rebound. Ejim, Bourne thought she had all ball, instead committed the foul underneath.
That was all ball, but Bourne got Ejim with the body. But take a look at this angle that Bourne creates for herself simply by posting up the lane, gets really good position on Ejim, and just comes over, stays focused as the help side defense comes over. But then on the defense side of the ball, the body Bourne gets her with. That block was clean, yes, but the body, there was some contact there on Ejim.
Ejim makes the first. ESPN's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship extends through the championship game on Sunday, April 3rd. You can also catch all the action on the ESPN app. Ejim knocks them both down, and a good response by the Zags, as that put Ejim into double figures with 10.
The Zags once again coming out in this little three-quarter court back to a half-court trapping press, just trying to slow Nebraska down and force them to make quick decisions.
Shelley playing with the 3 fouls. Ravens gives it down low to Markowski. Muscles her way in. Talk about a shock to the system with some physicality by the freshman of the year in the Big Ten.
That's the type of play that Markowski has to keep showing for Nebraska. Stay physical, get the deep position you want, then finish with contact.
Haley Trong with an answer for the Zags.
Haley Trong.
11 points, 6 of them in the second half for the junior guard, and a foul on the other end against the Zags.
That pass by Shelley, unbelievable. Able to just get that ball right where Markowski could catch it, and we'll have free throws coming back. But Markowski showing off why she was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, getting in the weight room. But how about the action on the other end? We have an all-out battle in Louisville. Felt slighted by losing in the first round of the tournament last year. They were upset by the 12 seed Belmont, and Gonzaga was a 5 seed in that game. And this Gonzaga team feels like they still have something to prove.
Out of the timeout, Markowski to the free throw line, just a 67% free throw shooter. Knocks down them both and cuts the lead down to 5. Jalen Trog to her sister, top of the arc. From the elbow, spots up, no, but she'll head to the free throw line.
Trong is staying so aggressive coming off of these ball screens. And she's attacking, getting paint touches. Nearly every single possession for the Zags in this third quarter has had a paint touch. And you had Shelley come over to try to get that from becoming an easier shot, and as a result, Shelley's fouled, and she's on the bench now with 4. That is a huge detriment to the Huskers.
And that forces Amy Williams to go to the bench to get Caton. As Shelley there, the transfer from Oregon, just 8 points with those 4 fouls. So how does Amy Williams then manage the rest of this third quarter and the rest of the game with her top point guard on the bench?
Well, the good news is Sam Hybe has point guard experience. She had the hands in her ball, or her ball in her hands rather, all season long a year ago. So therefore, they're going to have to depend on her veteranship to run the offense.
Hybe with the dribble drive, blocked by O'Connor. Last touch by Hybe, and a great defensive effort underneath by the senior.
The defense read that, and you just see the length that O'Connor possesses at 6 feet, long arms, and she timed that up perfectly for the block.
O'Connor, who's been an impact player since transferring from Loyola Chicago, making the defensive stop with a nice block. Strong underneath, trying to connect with Ejim, and a turnover for Gonzaga.
And while Shelley's out, I really like Gonzaga's decision to put a lot of ball pressure on. They have that 1-2-2 press that they've been showing, but especially right now with one of Nebraska's top ball handlers on the bench, this is the time to bring out the press.
Try to feed it inside of Markowski, tapped away by Ejim.
Not a good angle on that pass inside from Caton.
Strong gets tied up with Hybe, and possession to Nebraska.
I mean, how patient has Gonzaga been on the defense or offensive side of the ball, rather, but a really nice play there from Hybe, coming in, timing that again perfectly, reading her offensive player rather, and getting that without fouling.
Bella Cravens takes a seat. Bourne back in action. She has seen some quality minutes, due in large part to Markowski's foul trouble. On the floor is the Big Ten Freshman of the Year with 3 fouls. Hybe distributes to the corner, wave off the shot attempt, out of bounds, and a turnover.
That's the second time that's happened. In the first half, Gonzaga stepped out of bounds right there. In the second half, Nebraska just did it, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe some depth perception issues. Playing on a neutral site, I don't know, but it's happened twice.
Nebraska has made the point yesterday during shoot-around that where they play in Lincoln reminds them of the KFC Yum Center.
The Yum Center is red, just like Pinnacle Bank Arena is in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is very true.
Caton for 3. Into the hands of Walker, nice save, but right into the hands of Bourne. Hybe, the crossover dribble, lost her composure, into the hands of Trong. Ejim to O'Connor for 3, nothing but net.
That all happened because of the defensive stop. The Zags have kind of clogged the paint a little bit. Nebraska really does not have good angles to the basket.
Largest lead for the Zags until Bourne answers with a top-of-the-arc 3. Strong. Down low to Kempton. Blocked by Bourne, but will stay with the Zags with 13 on the shot clock.
How about the trading of the 3-point shots? Excellent ball movement. Again, a paint touch to find O'Connor in the corner. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Then Nebraska answers. And those are the types of shots that the Huskers need to start knocking down in a hurry, especially headed into the end of this third quarter.
Cravens back off the bench for the Huskers as Markowski takes a seat. 7 threes in this game as a team for Nebraska has kept them in it, down by 7. Great inbounds play that leads to a Kempton short jumper.
Excellent execution by the Zags, but that cannot happen for Nebraska. Out of bounds execution in the second half. You have to be completely locked in defensively.
12 points for Kempton on 6 of 10 shooting, closing in on a double-double with her 6 rebounds. Hybe working with 3 on the shot clock. The give and go to Cravens, who's met with a block. And a hard hit to the deck for the Zags. As this time it's Verjoge.
Verjoge has timed her blocks so well throughout this game. Coming over and just maybe hit her head again. Zags got to be careful hitting their head on the ground, man. We've seen that happen twice in this game. Just a really hard physical basketball we're seeing.
Kempton down low, Verjoge, strong, too strong with the left hand, but the second chance off the weak side rebound by Melody Kempton.
Kempton wasn't boxed out properly, so therefore she made Nebraska pay by just jetting to the basket for the advantage.
Proving why on a national stage she was a first-team All-WCC selection for the Zags.
Gonzaga switching all ball screens right now.
Turnover by Nebraska that brings Markowski back off the bench.
The Zags have switched up the way they've guarded ball screens throughout this game, and it's really flustered Nebraska because there hasn't been any consistency and it hasn't allowed the flow to happen offensively for the Huskers.
Zags give it away. That leaves 2.9 seconds on the clock. 13th turnover for Gonzaga in this game. Ivy at the buzzer. And the third quarter comes to a close, but the Zags 10 minutes away from a return trip to the second round thanks to their largest lead of the game, 54-43. The stars are shining from Spokane as we return to Louisville after this break. Trip to the round of 32. That has been a motivating factor for Lisa Fortier and her Zags coming into this season and this tournament.
Well, the Zags have had a great March. They played excellent in the WCC tournament, beating BYU in that championship game to earn the automatic bid to the tournament. But you want to peak at the right time, and that means peaking in March and staying healthy, and that's something the Zags have been able to do.
Haley Trong at the point, mismatch with Bourne. Fires off an off-balance three into the hands of Widener, the freshman for Nebraska. Winner of this game moves on to the round of 32 Sunday. Awaits the winner of #1 Louisville and the 16th-seeded UAlbany Great Danes as Widener, the freshman standout, helping Nebraska cut into this deficit. Shelley back on the floor for Nebraska, playing with those 4 fouls. Murkowski's got 3. 2 of the top stars for this Nebraska program. Verjoge, yes, and counted for the foul.
Murkowski simply got lost on defense there, and Verjoge was able to make her pay, putting her arms up in the air and teammates finding her down low. And just late on that rotation coming over, Verjoge finishes strong. And it's because Markowski was late coming back from trying to help on that ball screen action. And
build upon that foul trouble narrative, Murkowski just picked up her 4th foul, so you've got your top point guard in Jazz Shelley with 4 fouls on the floor, and the Big Ten Freshman of the Year in Alexis Markowski with 4 fouls.
Nebraska's dribbling a lot through that 1-2-2 press. I'd like to see them pass the ball up the floor and deem any of those traps ineffective, but the Huskers are kind of taking the bait and dribbling the air out of the ball in that press.
Haley Trong picking up her 2nd foul. Ivy looking to create, floater in the lane, off bank and in.
So pretty. Ivy's able to elevate over her defender, and as a result of her ability to get up in the air with that verticality, she's able to get a clean look at the basket.
Ivy with 18 points. Jalen Trong left open for 3.
As a slasher, you have to be excellent at reading defenses and finishing down low in the paint, and Hybe able to elevate over the defense, use angles in the glass effectively to create just enough separation and get that bucket to go.
Hybe, to use the baseball terminology, is the closer for Nebraska, and she will be relied upon certainly down the stretch with 7:35 left to go in this game, with 2 key stars for Nebraska in foul trouble. Jalen Trong working with 8 on the shot clock. 1-on-1 with Widener. Tries to go through Markowski. Loose ball picked up by Widener using the speed. 2-on-1. Bounce pass from Hybe back to Widener.
I would have liked to see Hybe just go up with it, finish it. Don't try to get too fancy when you have numbers, because that advantage on a transition is only going to last so long.
At this point, you've got to limit your mistakes if you're Nebraska down by 10. Inside feed. Ejim, no, but she'll go to the free throw line.
The Huskers look really tired right now, and Gonzaga has been able to get whatever they've wanted offensively because they stay so disciplined, and the ball movement has been excellent for the Zags. Ejim just using that little flex screen to come across. Gonzaga runs a ton of screens within their offense, but here's what makes them good. They're good at setting screens and using screens. When you have a screen, it's a two-person game. You have to be able to set up your screen as the person receiving, and then you have to stand your ground as the person setting the screen. Gonzaga excels in both those aspects.
Mentioned Ejim, a native of Calgary. I always like the background stories of why players pick their specific programs they're playing for, and Ejim was honest. She said she chose Gonzaga because it reminded her of Calgary.
Well, that makes sense with, you know, the trees, and it's kind of rainy and whatnot.
There's a lot of places that have trees.
big, whatever. Arizona doesn't have a lot of trees.
I think they have at least one tree.
Oh my goodness.
In the low post, Markowski draws the foul to be an inbounds play underneath. Ejim picked up her second foul from Calgary, where there's trees, just like there is at Gonzaga.
I'm talking about really big, like forest-like trees. Come on, man.
Hybe comes up with the answer for Nebraska. She's got 20 points in this game. Her 11th 20-point game of the season, but still a 10-point deficit to try to overcome for the Huskers. Walker, short jumper. Hybe there for the rebound and a reach-in foul.
Sam Hybe is doing everything in her power right now to try to keep the Huskers in this game. And it's her final game potentially in a white jersey for Nebraska. And she's been able to have an excellent career, and we talked to Amy Williams about her relationship with Hybe, and Williams saying Hybe has more talent in her pinky finger than I have in my whole entire being, but she's an extension of me on the floor. And Hybe and Williams have had a really special bond and relationship over the course of her career.
I don't think there's ever been a more important moment this season for Nebraska to look to their floor general in Sam Hybe. Shelley playing with the 4 fouls to Markowski for 3, knocks it down.
I have no idea how that ball got out to Markowski, but stranger things have happened, and Jack Shelley just drew everybody in a blue jersey to the paint, and that left Markowski wide open.
She can hit that shot, shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Zags with a quick answer. Kaylee Trong, the junior guard.
The Zags have done a great job not allowing Nebraska to get into stop situations. Anytime the Huskers have scored, the Zags have come down and hit back.
Trong with 10 of her 15 coming in the second half. That was a big answer for the Zags. Three from Shelley. Ejim there for the rebound. Strong to Kempton. Through traffic and into the hands of Kalen Trong. Nebraska shooting just 2 of 7 in this quarter. Make that now 2 of 8 as Gravens comes down with the rebound. Nebraska quite the opposite, shooting 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter. A wild shot attempt by Hybe.
Nebraska needs to try to slow down, run some offense, get a good paint touch.
Easy play from Trong to a wide open Ejim on the bounce pass.
Gonzaga continues to control this pace of play, and they've been able to really frustrate Nebraska this Huskers team has not been able to find any sort of flow whatsoever. And so much of it because offensively, the Zags have stayed so disciplined. Trong making really smart decisions with the ball in her hand. And then how about Ejum? Nobody in sight. Stuff going offensively from a scoring standpoint. And Kaylin has come off the bench and assisting, and that's such a massive category to get some numbers in, because when you're sharing the ball, that means the defense has to guard multiple people, and it makes it much harder to guard you offensively.
A steal on the other end taken away from the hands of Shelley. 10 turnovers in this game for Nebraska. Verjoge to the corner, Kaylee Trong. That could be the dagger that the Zags have been looking for.
Trong caught that in rhythm, and all she had to do was just go straight up with it for the easy three.
Caton to the corner, Widener for three. Doesn't get the lucky bounce. Right into the hands of Kaylee Trong, who has been phenomenal in this second half for Gonzaga.
Keep in mind, Kaylee Trong knocked her head on the floor in the second quarter, had to go back to the locker room, didn't play for the rest of the second quarter, but has come out in the second half and has been a force to be reckoned with for the Zags. How about the toughness from the junior?
Kaylin Trong trying to find her sister in the corner. Driving baseline off glass and in. 20 points for the sister act from Gonzaga.
Well, sister action. I think you practice that your whole entire life in the backyard, right?
And a timeout taken by Nebraska. And the Zags faithful who have made it to Spokane are feeling a berth to the round of 32.
And the Trong sisters, unbelievable play. They've been able to just find each other, catch shots in rhythm. But right now, Gonzaga is completely in control of this ball game. They've controlled tempo throughout the second quarter to this point in time, and it's the reason why they are enjoying a nice lead right now. A
9-0 run for Gonzaga, who is just 2-0-2 away from a trip to the round of 32. They await the winner of Louisville or UAlbany that we'll see coming up in the 6 o'clock hour on ESPN2. And then look at the bottom portion of the bracket. You've got Kelly Harper in Tennessee going up against the stingy Buffalo team. And that 12-5 matchup, Oregon and Belmont.
Well, Belmont beat Gonzaga a season ago when they were the 12 seed and the Zags were a 5 seed. So will history repeat itself? We got a lot of fun matchups coming here over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Kaylee Trong, who hit that last bucket, now with a career-high 20 points, and out of that timeout, a much-needed three-point shot by Jad Shelley.
You see Nebraska picking up with this press, trying to force a turnover. Huskers have to get defensive stops here from here on out.
You have to wonder how much foul trouble with Markowski and Shelley played into the factor of managing this game for Annie Williams for Nebraska. Corner three, Walker. Kempton offensive rebound. Trong thought about the three and a smart veteran play to reset the shot clock. Kempton traveled with the basketball. Markowski, corner for Hybe. And they're going to get the foul to Kaylin Trong. Trong, that'll be her third.
The foul on the Bulldogs, number 14, Kaylin Trong. Her third.
Lisa Fortier, in her 8th season, has been doing an amazing job for the Zags program, the youngest coach in program history to reach 200 wins. Last year, of course, the upset in the first round, losing to the 12 seed Belmont. This year they faced off with Stanford twice. They lost the regular season series between BYU. And even Lisa Fortier told us in shoot-around yesterday there, Megan, that it was that loss to BYU, that second one, that really reached rock bottom for this team. And their resilience, as we've talked about, certainly being showcased in this game today.
Well, sometimes you have to get hit in the mouth.
Bathfitter doesn't just fit your bath.
The seniors, fifth-year seniors, that had one goal in mind, that was to come back to the tournament and make some noise. And they've had a great month of March, going on a run in the WCC tournament to get that title and automatic bid. And now here they are, where they've had a fabulous game against Nebraska. They've come in, they've played Gonzaga basketball, slowing it down to their pace of play. Inside-outside game has been there. But I've just been so impressed with the composure overall that the Zags have played with today.
As for Nebraska, certainly a strong year. As we take a look at the official review, this is what they're looking at. Who touched the ball last between Bourne and O'Connor? Appears to be off the fingertips of the junior Bourne.
I would say that looks like it's off of Bourne.
After review, white ball.
So it will be Nebraska possession with just over 46 seconds to go. Again, Zags hold on. They moved on to the round of 32. Await the winner of #1 Louisville and 16-seeded UAlbany in our second matchup. And a timeout taken by Lisa Fortier and the Zags.
And as a result of the timeout, Gonzaga will be able to advance the ball up. So it's a good move by Coach Fortier to avoid any sort of pressure that Nebraska could put on in a potential turnover for her team.
You know the Big Ten as well as anybody. What are the prospects of Nebraska? Build me a case as to why this team could have success down the road come next season.
Well, they don't have a ton of people leaving. Yes, Sam Hybe is somebody who could leave. Bella Cravens graduated early as well. But this is a team that's going to return Jazz Shelley, Izzy Bourne, Alexis Markowski. They're only going to really lose one starter. So as a result, this is a young Nebraska team that has a lot of potential to make some noise next year, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country. 24
wins this season for the Huskers. That included 3 against top 10 teams in Indiana. Beat Michigan twice. Had the most wins of any Big Ten team this year. For the Zags, the WCC tournament title champs, knocking off BYU. The team that wanted to seek revenge from last year's loss in the opening round to Belmont. Floater by Trong. Final 10 seconds into the hands of the Zags junior star. And as the seconds tick away, Gonzaga, the #9 seed in the Wichita region, survives and advances and is moving on to Sunday's round of 32. Gonzaga advancing to the round of 32 for the first time since 2019 after their victory today over Nebraska. And now the Zags await the winner of Louisville, the #1 seed in the region, who will face off with #16 seed UAlbany.